distracted some with cognitive tasks, like answering clinical questions or background noise or both. A control group had no distractions. Results? Students did most poorly telling left from right when distracted by cognitive tasks. Background noise, not so much. The team says medical students should be warned of the danger and trained to prevent it. Meanwhile, if you're going in for surgery, take a Sharpie and mark the spot with a big old X, just to be on the safe side.
The Lowdown on Science is produced by LDOS Media Lab in partnership with the University of California Irvine Science Communications and 89.3 KPCC. On the web at LOHDOWNonscience.org.
Adrian gets the carry and is loose. Parisi winds and scores. Puckett swings and hits a blast. Deep left center, way back. Touch 'em all, Kirby Puckett. Lob it to Garnett, beneath the foul line. The fadeaway with a hand to space in the air for the win. Yes!
This is Sidelines on your Sound and Sports Alternative, KVSC.
Welcome to Sidelines, a 30-minute sports talk show live on UTVS Charter Channel 180 as well as KVSC 88.1 every Friday morning at 12:30. Welcome into the show today. I am your host, Bobbie Bullock, joined alongside some new faces along with some old. We got AJ's back. We got Nate in the USA jersey, Katie Emmer, and of course Colin. Guys, welcome into the show. I've missed you guys. It's been a long time.
Well, Bobbie, I mean, you're kind of in your farewell tour here, aren't
I am.
you?
Every moment I feel like I'm saying goodbye.
We're not going to talk about it. We've already, we told each other that yesterday.
We don't need the...
I got one more week. I got this week and next week, so let's make it a good show. Let's make it a good show today, guys. A lot on the menu today. Minnesota Twins kickoff expedition play today down in the sunny state of Florida. The Minnesota Wild, they look to stay ahead of Chicago in a tight race in the playoffs come soon. But first, guys, I want to talk about the NBA trade line. Ended yesterday. And guys, I got to say, with the amount of rumors that went around with Ricky Rubio leaving, I thought today I would be seeing him not in a Timberwolves jersey, but he's staying.
Such a tease.
Such a tease. I mean,
I was left super unsatisfied, to say the least.
I feel like every time it's like, yeah, we're thinking about doing this. It's like you always hear about Rubio, and it's like, oh, shoot. Well, poor guy. Think about him, though. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm just kind of here. Do you see his press conference yesterday? Like, yes, I love playing here. I love Minnesota. But, like, oh, think about him, like the tugging on your heart. You're like, where am I going with my job? I'm sure
it's got to be difficult to stay playing the way you usually do if you're always being like, oh, we're going to trade you.
Yeah. Right. Where am I going to be tomorrow morning?
Yeah, like, I don't know.
He'll get traded eventually, though, because they have Chris Dunn. I mean, they drafted him top 5 player.
Yeah.
You can't. Plus, I mean, you have Zach LaVine, Andrew Wiggins, and Karl Anthony Towns that you're going to have to pay sooner or later.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right now, Rubio's making the most money on your team, and he doesn't have a jump shot. I mean,
what did Mitchell just say when Mitchell from KVSC was just in here? He said they're garage sailing him.
I think that was the best I've heard.
I mean, how would you feel? That was just like, wow, the love for my Timberwolves. They're just trying to get rid of me, maybe, but maybe not.
Right.
It's like I would want to, solidify my role, and he has done that. But it's kind of like, yeah, we don't know if it's worth it. We might want better. It's like, oh, that'd be tough.
And for people that may have not been watching a lot of, the last couple weeks of sports, Ricky Rubio was looking to get traded with the Knicks for Derrick Rose. And guys, I think the biggest conversation today is, was that a smart move on the Timberwolves half? Yes or no? I'm hearing so much back and forth that I'm kind of getting swayed by whoever tells me what they think.
I honestly think they've had a pretty not mediocre. They've done pretty well this season. And
with him, you're saying?
Yeah, Thibodeau said it himself yesterday. The reason why they didn't do it is, it's that time of the year. You listen to everyone. We felt that we're good where we are. So it's kind of like, yeah, Derrick Rose might have done something, but then at the end of the day, you have a camaraderie. If the guys are doing well.
So you're saying it was smart to keep him?
Yeah, I think it was smart to kind of keep things away.
Are we agreeing with her?
At least at this point of the season, too.
Yeah, it's one of those deals where I think you would have to see the long-term effects of it before you could say who won and who didn't.
Right.
But Derrick Rose, former MVP, definitely isn't playing like that as of, in his past couple years. He's battled injuries. It seems like this guy stumbles down the steps and he shatters a shin bone or something.
Right.
But he's been playing really good with the Knicks this season. I'll give him that. Like, very consistent, reliable, not an all-star by any means, but he's been doing very well.
Right. And, some of the things I've picked up for a smart decision. Derrick Rose always hurt, always injured. Rose, he becomes a free agent at the end of the year. So I think that's the biggest thing on the plate. Also, I think the reason the Knicks want Rubio is because Derrick Rose takes way too many shots for their team. They have way better shooters on the Knicks team that Derrick Rose is taking their shots away from them.
He is shooting 46% though from the floor.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at the same time, you can't really knock the guy for doing that if he's being that consistent.
Right. I think, though, that they're looking for someone in that point guard position to pass the ball up a little bit more. And I know Rubio, he's a great passer. We have him for assists because, like you said, he's not a guy who's going to hit your jump shots. So, I mean, definitely a back-and-forth toss-up. But one of the biggest trades that created the most noise was DeMarcus Cousins from Sacramento going to the New Orleans Pelicans. He's playing with his old teammate Anthony Davis. What do you guys think of that?
Well, first, I mean, we kind of talked about like the effects of trading and how Katie was saying that, you know, you never know if you're going to get moved or not, but it was during the NBA All-Star game, and as soon as he gets off the court, you know, press conference and kind of, the first thing you can hear people are shouting like, all right, All-Star game questions first, All-Star game questions first. He's like, what are you talking about? What other kind of questions would there be? And then something like whispered in his ear, and he's like, wait, for real? and so he's like, how'd you like the All-Star game? He's like, well, I love the city of New Orleans. I love it. It's like that probably was like the funniest thing I saw all week. Besides that, but you know, at the same time, the guy he loves Sacramento.
Yeah.
He teared up in. Yeah, exactly.
I really don't know why.
So how much do you think that having him be traded there? How much will this help this Pelicans team?
I mean, you saw it his first night back on the court. Obviously, they got blown out. But you could see the chemistry already starting to kick up again between Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins.
Cousins had 29, Davis had 27.
Yeah, I mean
that's pretty good, especially your first game together.
If they get a point guard, they're gonna be good.
Drew Holiday is pretty underrated. He's pretty decent. They need some more wing players. They don't have a player 2 through 3 right now. So
that's true. All right.
As I was driving over here today, I was talking to my older brother about this trade with DeMarcus Cousins, and he goes, how much you want to bet if they do not make the playoffs that they will be giving John Calipari, the Kentucky coach, a little bit of a call, see if he wants to come coach his old teammates? My brother literally believes that he would do that. Do you guys believe that?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I think that Calipari embraces the
Calipari. Can we practice me saying that? Calipari.
It's like calamari.
I think
like
I said.
squid.
What did I just say? I literally never can pronounce his name.
I think
John Calipari.
There you go.
I was waiting for you to do something. Calipari.
But no, I mean he's kind of the bad guy for coaching in college because he's embraced the one and done type thing. Yeah. But the thing is, like, he wants to see his players find success, and he knows when their trade stock is up. He's totally fine with that. The one and done thing works for him, and that kind of leads me to believe he would be a guy maybe who could be successful in the NBA, especially with coaching former players, that he used to coach. But at the same time, I think he loves that college aspect too much, and he's successful and at a great program.
When he did get that NBA trial, he kind of flopped. He didn't do very well.
He was not good back in the day when he was in the NBA.
I think him being at Kentucky, he's
much like Chip Kelly in the NFL. I mean,
yeah, much like Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, though, the Timberwolves, they're looking for a key win tonight. They play Dallas, the Mavericks of Dallas. They come to town tonight. What do you guys see in that matchup? It's a huge game for them.
First, we're going to see Nerlens Noel in a brand new uniform.
It's about time.
Yeah.
It is about time for him.
Yeah,
he's been waiting to get out of Philly for a long time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's been kind of covered up with all the Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid and
Jahlil Okafor.
Yeah. I mean, how many big guys do they have?
Well, they drafted 3 centers 3 years in a row.
Yeah. And then Simmons actually was just announced that he's out for the rest of the
Yep.
That's so bad. I just want to see him play.
I know.
I want to see him play. I mean, he's good. He's Philly. He could run the point for them, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But, we'll have to wait until next year.
Yeah.
This game is super important, too. I mean, I was reading, too, Dallas, playoffs coming up. Dallas is 3 games back. The Wolves are 3.5 games back. I mean, this is kind of in the record so far this season is 1-1 for the, those two teams matching up. So and you're looking at the Timberwolves coming off of a big win against the Denver Nuggets on February 15th. So they're kind of on a hot streak, especially Andrew Wiggins with 40 points in the last game.
Huge.
Not to mention Karl Anthony Towns. A lot of them are standing out this season. So I don't know.
Like you said, Katie, they're going for the A spot, and if the Timberwolves can get that spot in the playoffs, I mean, how cool for Timberwolves fans to have the Warriors come to town.
Well, let's
Yeah,
talk
so
about
we can
this.
get
I mean, I looked ahead a little bit, but
the team that just put 50 in the third quarter alone up against the Clippers.
Yeah.
I mean, if Steph
They're
Curry's
going to put up
coming to
75
town, I'll be there.
against us.
That's a lot of faith. I love the faith.
Hey,
And
I
optimism,
mean,
I'm sorry I tell it like it is.
I was reading it the other, because I wasn't watching the game. 50 points. I was like, oh, second half, okay. But no, 50 points alone in the third quarter. 20 of those 50 points coming from Stephen Curry. I mean, my question is, guys, are we seeing the team? I mean, is this kind of NBA season over? Is this the team that's going to win it all? I have to say yes, because with the Cavs, where they are with all their injuries, who else is going to beat this
LeBron,
team?
though.
The only person that can beat them is Draymond Green. Because he's
right.
such a detriment to the team. He cost them the championship last year. You saw him get into his antics again last night, chirping Paul Pierce for absolutely no reason, telling him he's not Kobe, that he doesn't deserve the farewell tour. But and then he kicked no whistle on that sequence either. He kicked Blake Griffin when he was down on the floor. I'm so sick of this guy.
When was that
Yeah, he
again?
is.
I remember seeing that.
That was probably early second quarter.
Yeah.
Because he got a technical called on him later.
So I'm not picking up what you're throwing down, AJ. Is this the team or is this not the team?
No, it's just Draymond Green. Just Draymond Green.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, he has to control his emotions a little bit. I mean,
Okay.
Steve Curry in the post-game talk last night was telling reporters he likes that Draymond, approaches that edge, that kind of line, but he says too often he just hops over it, and he just goes way too far. Draymond Green, I mean, I was seeing First Take guys actually talk about this a little bit this morning, but they were saying that, but he didn't actually do it. No, he cost them a championship game the championship in general last year.
Yeah,
he got
because he was suspended. Yep.
Suspended for the game. If he's in there for, what is it, game 5? No, game 6.
Game.
If he's in there for game 6, I have no doubt that Golden State would have been back-to-back champions.
Well, see, I look at it this way, though. You look in the West, you have San Antonio, Houston, and the Clippers are viable options besides Golden State. But none of those teams, except maybe the Spurs, can beat them in a 7-game series. Houston, they improved at the trade deadline, but I don't think they stand a chance against them. Then you look in the East, no team in the East, even though Toronto got better at the trade deadline, can beat Cleveland in a 7-game series. So it's kind of sad that it's even at the beginning of the season, everyone knew it was going to be
who it was going to be. And to be honest, that's why I haven't really been keeping up with the teams, because it's pretty obvious who's going to be there in the end. I mean, I wouldn't say it for sure. The Warriors, I'm a big Steph Curry fan, so I hope to see him there. But we'll see.
Speaking of the Warriors, can I show you guys something really quick? Did anybody notice my jersey today?
Let's stand up.
She's got the Durant Thunder jersey going.
We haven't even brought that up. Wow. Tour around one more time for the fans that are watching.
There we go.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Too bad.
Brought her out today.
Brought her out today. Brought her out of the closet.
Russell's going to warm up from on the opposite side of the court as you. If you make it the All-Star.
Darn it. All right, guys. Well, we got Katie Emmer. We're going to talk some NHL. She does the in-studio for the hockey games. We will talk about Husky hockey maybe a little bit later, but we're going to start with the Minnesota Wild. They are still looking to make big things happen this season. With 23 regular season games left, they currently sit at second in power rankings with a 39-14 record, right below the leading Washington Capitals, of course, who sit at 39-12. But guys, the big storyline I think today with the Minnesota Wild team is if they can they get past Chicago's team? They come playoff time.
Of course.
You think
totally. Shouts out to Alex Curtis. The Chicago's hockey team is going down. I mean, this is like not even a debate. They're
Okay, then I'm gonna back up my question to you, Katie Emmer. The Wild are just coming off a 5-3 loss from them.
Yep.
Boudreau, the new coach for the Wild, he has never won a playoff game against the Blackhawks in all of his coaching career ever.
I mean, he also hasn't made it out of the first round either.
So, I mean, can this Wild team, who's on such a high this season, get past the Chicago?
Yeah, I can't even think you can define Boudreau's maybe curse it is on this Wild team this year. I mean, you just said it yourself, second overall in the league standings right now. I mean, we're in a hot spot. The Blackhawks game on Tuesday is the Chicago team on Tuesday was a little iffy. That was I was on the edge of my seat, though. I mean, that high sticking goal by Zach Parise might have changed the game, but I don't know. I think we're seeing a different team this year, obviously a different coaching too, but I don't think you can define.
You look like you got something to say there to Katie Emmer. I mean, lay it out.
No, I agree with her. Chicago's been a really streaky team all year.
Yeah. They have been.
They either lose a lot of games in a row or they win a lot of games in a row. And right now, their captain finally is playing like a captain. Jonathan Taves, in the last 13 games, is leading the NHL in points. Yeah. He's leading them in goals. He has a hat trick.
How about that Schmaltz too from North
Dakota? I hate that guy just because I hate him. Plays for Chicago. Used to play at North Dakota. I don't know how much. The only thing that can make it worse if he played for a Dino. That would be the trifecta right there of hate. But no, I mean Chicago. If they stay hot, they're going to give the Wild some trouble if they do face up in the playoffs.
I was going to say, if the playoffs were tonight, in the second round, the Wild would play off Chicago. Yeah. So, I mean, with the success the Wild have seen, obviously, this season, great for them, but can they get it done when it really matters against a team that, has really gotten to them when the time counts?
I think they can, and
I hope you're one guy who better have their back, because you've had their back since you sat in this seat this year.
Yeah, no, I've had their back since 2000.
All the way back then.
Yeah,
well, you better have them come a couple weeks then. Guys, I know you aren't a basketball fan. Colin, this is your first time on the show, right?
Second time.
Second time on the show.
First time on TV.
All right, so for some of the viewers who probably don't know you very well, what year are you?
This is technically my first semester as a senior.
First semester as a senior. Okay, and are you going into radio
broadcasting?
Radio broadcasting, awesome. And I mean, you said, Bobbie, I'm not a huge basketball fan. So what fan are you? What's your favorite sport and what's your favorite team?
Hockey's definitely my favorite sport, and the Wild are my favorite team. And if you look at a possible matchup between them and Chicago, I think you always have hope, and obviously I think they have a really good chance, a better chance than any other year, but I also thought they had a really good chance in 2015, and they got swept. So you never really know what Chicago team you're going to get. Like you said, they're streaky during the regular season, but
they come to play when it matters.
Show, playoffs for dough. That's when they turn it on, and they're one of those teams that can just turn it on and play better than everybody else.
Well, Colin, I'm glad I know you're a hockey fan. I got you on the hot seat right now. So the Wild, they have 5 days off on their bye week right now. They don't play until Monday night. As a big hockey fan, you think this is going to help them coming off a bad loss? Maybe sleep it off a little bit, or is this going to hurt them?
A little bit. I mean, it's great to get some rest. We've seen a little bit of Eric Stahl kind of on a decline a little bit these last couple of games, although I think the last two he's been pretty good, and thinking that he might be getting a little tired. But teams coming out of the bye week are 4-17 right now. So, and I think those 4 wins are teams playing other teams coming out of the bye week. So this bye week has kind of screwed up teams a lot, and they haven't been really winning out of them. So I don't know how much it really is going to help them at all.
Did you hear that they want to make it 2 bye weeks next year?
2?
Yeah. Somebody from player safety was saying that they want to make it 2 bye weeks next year. That's so stupid.
Or they want to extend the All-Star break.
They're probably tired. They need a break. I mean, to give people more of a break, I would say the baseball players. I mean, playing 60, 80? 62. Okay, we need Thomas in here with those facts, baseball facts. Missing him today.
Can I add something to
yes,
the Wild
you can.
Quick? So this is kind of like a side note, but I noticed a story that popped up today on social media, and I read into it. Charlie Coyle's Nana from Boston had never been to a Wild game at the XL Center, and as a Christmas present, they took a roadie. The whole family took his Nana. No, it was so cute. Took his Nana all the way to the XL. She was there for last Saturday's game against Nashville, and then this last Tuesday's game against the Blackhawks. And they had this this moment, the whole arena. She was doing a chant for them. It was fun.
What a guy.
What a guy.
What a guy is all I got to say.
It's fun to kind of see them off the ice.
Yeah, I like those kind of stories.
Yeah.
And I think, we're talking about storylines.
Yeah.
How about kind of story rumors coming up here with the trade deadline coming up March 1st? We got a lot of big names for the NHL that are looking to get moved. Kevin Shattenkirk of the Blues. Colorado has basically their entire roster. Up being rumored. Matt Duchene. Yeah, honestly, Matt Duchene. Gabriel Landeskog, Joe McGinley per usual. I mean, it seems like he's always on the move at the trade deadline. But even an elite goaltender like Ben Bishop is rumored to be moving somewhere. which I
Well,
find.
you know where I'd like to see them go?
Where would you like to see him go?
Nashville Predators.
Oh my goodness.
What do you?
They have Pekka
My Nashville Predators. I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness.
I was gonna say.
Just wait till the Stanley
I
Cup.
forgot.
playoff
What are your
time.
teams again? Nashville Predators
Yeah.
and some.
Are you not? Are
Yeah,
you
no,
not
but
happy
who
with-
else?
Are you not happy with
Isn't it
Pecorine?
Michigan Tigers too?
No, Detroit Tigers.
The Detroit Tigers, yeah.
No, yeah, hold on. Katie, we got to fill you in here real quick. Nate,
Fill her in. Fill her in.
Nate hasn't been much. He's not much of a
hockey guy.
So he determined about a month ago that he was just going to start rooting for a team. He didn't really know what team he should hop on.
And I didn't want a bandwagon.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to
Wouldn't
pick
wanna
like
do that.
Chicago or Las. He offered Las Vegas. I'm like, no, I don't know. So we decided with the Predators.
Did you just like?
Well, hey, that was a good team to
pick
choose.
this
Threw a
one.
dart.
I'll pick
Mini.
this one.
I did that too at the beginning of the year.
I'm ride or die for the Predators right now.
Well, hey, I'm glad you
Fisher,
found
you
a
got
team
your
that
Mike
fits you
Fisher.
good.
Yep.
Well, I'll help you cheer for him. I'll be on that team.
Like a snug jacket. It's
All right, guys,
Jam.
we're switching things up. I got some
quick,
trivia. I got some trivia for you. Unless you have one more
I
thing
was
to
gonna
add.
just add really quick.
Add it up.
Because here at St. Cloud State, we're gonna make some ties. But speaking of the Kings, did anyone see Kevin Gravel, former Husky, with his first NHL goal last night against the Bruins?
I did see that.
Yeah.
A Husky
Pretty
alum.
cool, pretty cool.
Always
gotta
happy
love
to
that.
see a Husky alum.
You gotta
Yeah,
love it.
doing big things.
The Kings love the Huskies.
They do. I was
They
gonna
do.
say.
They love
They
it.
all- they also got
Brodzinski,
Dowd
though,
up
has gotta
there.
get his point
Yep.
up there.
Dow, Brodzinski was there for a little bit.
A
Yep.
little bit.
Very briefly.
So
A small
And I
stint.
interviewed some of the guys on the team this year, and I'm like, how weird is that? Especially with
Mikey Asimont being drafted
Yep.
there.
well, yeah, true, but even on the terms of like watching this Blackhawks versus Wild game, and I'm like, you guys have played against some of these guys, in the NCHC play. It's got to be so weird. And now you're former teammates in the NHL. But anyway, I just had to add that. I thought it was really cool.
that's a good add-on.
Yeah.
Husky alum.
Thanks.
Always got to be
Jensen.
proud of our Husky alums, right, Colin?
Yeah, Nick Jensen also scored a highlight
Yeah.
reel goal for Detroit.
There we go,
last week, so-
Mr. Hockey. That's how I'm gonna start. You know what? Your name is Mr.
Mr. Hockey.
That
Mr.
fits you.
Hockey.
Hey,
Okay.
geez, you're
Is
kind
that
of
ring
like,
or no?
it's kind of like the high school state tournament,
It
Mr.
might be a little
Hockey,
much, but it's
Well,
fine.
no,
It's
no,
fine.
no,
I'll
nothing.
take
Nothing
it.
can go too much here. Trust me. All right, guys, we got some trivia though for you. All right, are we ready?
I'm ready.
Wrapping up
All right.
trivia weekend.
I know. So I'm.
You're a little late to the show, Bobbie.
I know. Well, for me, I always like trivia, and I always like to see if I can stump somebody. All right, so there was a Minnesota Twin player. Don't shout it out loud if you know yet. He was golfing yesterday with Glenn Perkins. One of these players got a hole-in-one while playing on a 236-yard par 3. Okay, everyone gets a chance to guess. Which Twins player was it?
Byron Buxton.
Wrong.
Shoot.
I'm gonna go Brian Dozier.
Wrong.
Phil Hughes.
Nope.
Mauer.
Boom! God, I like this new guy. He's one of my favorite on the top of the list. Joel Mauer gets one to go. Guys, what? Maybe that great golf swing of his will turn into a great baseball
was gonna
swing
say, you
this
can't-
come year.
He can't hit a baseball, but he can hit.
But he can hit a golf ball.
Good for him.
Hey, 236 par 3
Hey.
hole-in-one. I play golf. I mean,
He's just got to make the contact. I mean, he's just been one of those like coasting, like
yeah.
"I'll
Swing
never
soft, hit
leave."
Just
hard.
think,
My
if-
brother's like, Katie, you don't realize he will never leave. And I'm like, well,
I'm surprised he even
Great.
was able to like aim it because isn't his eyesight
Oh my
like super bad?
Oh yeah.
Well, hey, obviously, 236-yard par 3. I don't know if you guys golf at all, but that's pretty.
That's
That
a
is
decent,
pretty
that's,
good.
That's a decent
No,
distance.
that's
for
fair.
sure.
Bobbie,
That's very
golfer,
good.
former golfer yourself. Actually, you probably still do golf. Can you do that? I want to know.
I got to brag a little bit. I have had a hole-in-one before. Have you guys
Wow.
had
On
one?
what, mini golf?
I actually have had a
Really good
hole-in-one
golfer. Bobbie's a
on a
really good golfer.
147-yard par 3. It was straight on Edina Country Club. I was
Ooh.
actually
brag.
sick brag. But listen, this is the fun part about it. I was actually playing with a St. Cloud State golfer. It was in a dual tournament. It was a 2-on-2 match play. The day before I got the hole-in-one, the pin placement was exactly the same spot, looked like, but 10 yards to the left. Hit the pin. That was close I've ever been. And I was like, oh my God, I've never been that close before. So the next day, the pin moves a little bit to the left or to the right, and it hits the pin, bounces back, and goes in. And my teammate tackles me. I mean, in golf, that doesn't usually happen. That big of a celebration.
golf, a little
So
snap.
it was a pretty fun experience. But yeah, for
Bobbie.
236-yard par 3, I mean, I would be jumping for joy.
Oh yeah, for
So
sure.
Joe Mauer, he's probably jumping for joy down in Florida. They kick off their expedition play today against the Tampa Bay Rays. Kyle Gibson is going to be on mound today.
Wolf.
Wolf. Well, guys,
Just the,
I'm so interested to see what
every-
Mahler has up his sleeve this
I am
season.
too, because there's got to be something good coming out.
I
There's
mean,
got to be something better.
The only thing I know for sure is another 100-loss season.
Well, we have Mr. Negative in here today. It's like,
I feel
darn
I
it.
hope they lose.
They're just so
Darn it.
bad.
I
They're
just
so
have had
bad.
enough of the attitude from you.
Yeah.
So bad.
Gosh.
All right,
Minnesota.
so, my question is this. I was Googling over the internet
Ooh.
Byron Buxton's. I ran into him a couple times on Twitter. And, in the minor leagues, he was so much ahead of Chris Bryant and Bryce Harper and these huge names that you're hearing today. Okay,
How'd that work out?
Today, last year, you didn't see that big name. You didn't see Byron Buxton. What do you guys think went wrong with this kid when he hit the majors?
His organization.
Yeah,
It wasn't
Really?
able to set him up for success. You look at Bryce Harper. He's in a very big market. He's got great facilities. He's got that
I would
being
have to
said-
say I don't agree with the facilities. I don't think that makes you a great player, but
I think what I meant to say was the coaching staff.
yeah, okay. So you don't think him and Mahler are on the same page?
Not necessarily, but maybe like hitting coach, fielding coach, and whatnot. Chris Bryant in Chicago. He's got a lot of youth around him.
Yeah.
He was with Starlin Castro for a little bit in the minors. He's got Anthony Rizzo with him, Jorge Soler. I could go on. Aston Russell.
Yeah.
He's got all those guys to kind of build up and grow with, and now, he's pretty much accomplished everything there is in baseball.
Right.
What's he going to do next?
Well, in a press conference a couple days ago, Byron Buxton was saying that he was taken down in the minor leagues twice last year. That's a kind of a big humbling experience for him, I'm guessing. He said, the second half of the season, the reason it went so well was because he took a different approach. He went into it not caring as much. That's hard to say as an athlete, but being a little bit more loose, being a little bit more relaxed. And I think that's what he said. He's going to try to have that mindset or approach come this time around. So that'll be interesting to see how he does. One funny thing that I read this morning as well was the Chicago Cubs announced today that the Marriott Inn Hotel, a block from Wrigley Field, will have a whole weekend rooms that will cost $20.66, celebrating the World Series when they won it in 2016, all weekend. That's a pretty good deal.
Wow.
Are you guys picking up what I'm throwing out?
Yeah, no.
I'm saying a hotel
No, I
down the field from Wrigley Field. I'm getting no reaction. I heard that and I busted out laughing, and there was no one around me. $20.66. That place.
66 or 16?
16. Sorry.
That's where
I got too excited. I got too excited with the $20.
I was following you, and then you're like $20.
Listen, AJ, we've been traveling with the St. Cloud State Huskies men's team and having to go to all their games, and the hotels these days are not
Grand
cheap.
Forks, it was like $85, $90.
And I'm telling you, $20. If I was a Cubs fan, I am a Cubs fan.
Especially in Chicago.
What?
Like
In Chicago.
You're a big Clemson fan. You're a
I
big
know,
Ohio State
no,
fan.
not Clemson, but
But they won, so of course you are.
guys, that's a pretty big deal. Another big thing with baseball is the Minnesota Gopher baseball team. They play today at U.S. Bank Stadium, and they are going to use that U.S. Bank Stadium. It wasn't made for a baseball field, but let me tell you, the first game to ever kick off at U.S. Bank Stadium was today at 6 in the morning was the kickoff.
I actually had a high school buddy of mine playing for Century College. Shout out to my guy Brian Sanchez.
He was at 6 o'clock in the morning
He
game?
was-
Wow.
he was,
that's
We should have
passion.
got him for an
That's straight
interview.
passion.
That is.
he was kind of snapping me yesterday. He was like, "Hey, if you're real, you're about to be watching the live stream on the web." I was like, "No, not a chance. I love you, buddy, but not a chance."
Hey, someday he can tell his kids, yeah, I was the first team ever to play at the U.S. Bank Stadium at 6 in the morning.
Did you see that setup that they had? It was like
it's
right
kind
on
of awesome.
the like I can't even explain it. The end of one of the end zones.
Yeah.
And it's like the corner going off, and it's just so crazy. I was like, wow, the way they can transform that.
You remember the Metrodome where they had the right field wall? They had that giant tarp.
Yeah.
Kind of.
'cause it was,
They
like-
brought that back. It's now purple. You got like the Vikings
Yeah.
logos everywhere. It's really sick, honestly.
Yeah. Well, another funny thing was they actually asked the Gopher coaches to bring their own foul ball sticks because this place wasn't made for baseball, so they really don't have a lot of the gear. So to ask some of these teams to bring that, it's kind of funny.
It's interesting.
It's
for
very
sure.
interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting is a better word, I'm guessing. St. Cloud State baseball team, they will be there on Monday at 4 and. Do you know the times on that one?
I can't remember the.
I should know it. I should be an expert in this. I don't, but they will play.
It's 4 and 7, I believe.
4 and 7, off by an hour. 4 and 7, they will play at Concordia St. Paul on Monday, so they will be one of those games. Also, to last end with the the men's basketball team, they won in a close game against Wayne State.
They sure did.
Nate, were you covering that game by
I
chance?
sure was covering that
You
game.
sure were. Well,
I
we got an
sure were.
expert in the field then, Mr. Basketball over
Mr.
here.
Basketball, yeah.
Well, what all went down in that game?
That was just a good game by the Huskies. They ended up shooting, if I remember right, it was 23 for 24 from the free throw line, which was incredible. And second half, they came to play. First half, they were a little weak. Second half, they came and they got her done and blew her out.
I was going to say I didn't get there till second half, and when I heard the score, I'm like, wow, come on, guys. But, hey, I must have been the good luck charm because when I showed up,
You must have.
things were going in. Things
Obviously.
were starting to
Yeah.
work from.
Yeah.
But, guys, I want to thank you for coming on the show again today. I will have my last time on the show next Friday at 12:30. I hope to have all you guys there, and I hope all of you out there are listening. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, Friday at 12:30.
Thank you for listening to Sidelines, your sound and sports alternative. That's 88.1 FM and HD St. Cloud, KVSC.